Every year, the Women's Forum invites a special delegation from one country to join. And this year, our delegation, as Veronique mentioned, is Mexico. Could I ask our colleagues from the Mexican delegation to please stand up? Let us welcome you. Bienvenidos a todos. It's wonderful to see you all. And you'll have the opportunity to also speak to them in the Discovery Hall. In our next session, we have a member of that delegation who will be joining us on stage. As you might know, there are 3 pillars to the program of this year's meeting. One of them is addressing basic needs, and that was the conversation that Anne and Ertharin just focused on. The second pillar is on technology and innovation, and several of our sessions in tomorrow's Planagora will focus on those areas. The third theme this year is on human rights and the rule of law. And in our next session, Justice for All Women, we're going to have a conversation on that topic. I'd like to invite to the stage now Marianne Pearl, who's the editor-in-chief of Chime for Change, a global journalism platform, and Salma Hayek Pino, actress, producer, and co-founder of Chime for Change. So please, let me give the floor to you. Welcome.
Is that working? Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to turn around so I don't feel rude. We're really happy to have Salma here to talk to you today about an organization we work together in, Chime for Change, which I like to believe is very much a trailblazing organization with a trailblazing leader. And basically, we would like to talk today about how we have gotten to a pivotal moment for women all around the world. It's a pivotal moment for many reasons, but I think the most important one is the work of anonymous women who've so long, I mean, we could talk about any country, but in Mexico and everywhere, these women that have tried to move on and move on women's progress and in all anonymity. And now this is changing, right? So we're going to talk about how, when we come together, how much we can achieve, but to me, it feels like, if there wasn't the individual at the center of the action, that nothing would happen. And that's when I would like to, for you to meet Salma through the lenses of her commitment to women's rights, which stemmed really, really early in her life. So would you like to share with us, when your first sort of click came for you to start thinking about, helping women?
I've done different kinds of work for women's rights around the world, but probably what I've done the most has been domestic violence. And it started really early because when I was about 6 years old, many people ask me, why do you care about this subject matter? Are you a victim of domestic violence? First of all, I want to say I've never been a victim of domestic violence, and I never saw it in my house. And then when they ask me why, it's very surprising to me that people feel that you have to be a victim of something to care about it. And this is absolutely ridiculous. We shouldn't just do things or get involved or try to evolve who we are as human beings only based on our own personal experience, but because it is painful to watch other human beings go through certain experiences. And when I was about 6 years old, I was walking with my mother and my father in Coatzacoalcos, Veracruz, Mexico. And a man started beating up a woman on the street. My father crossed the street and started beating the man up, taking him away from the woman and hitting the man. This is Mexican style. Eh? By the time we call the police and they arrive, she's dead. And then the woman started beating up my father.
This also is Mexican style.
she started beating up my father and saying, "How dare you? This is not your business. This is my man, and he can do as he wants because I belong to him." And I was 6. And I remember this so clearly. First, I felt sorry for the woman. Then I felt really worried for my father. And then, when this happened, I did not know how I was supposed to feel. I was confused, but it really haunted me. And then I realized that without judgment, I was very preoccupied for this woman, because the actual physical pain was something disturbing for me. But the reason why she would want to endure this and accept it and defend it was really puzzling for me, was intriguing, and it gave me not a judgment, but a different level of compassion and anger. What did she have to go through to think that it is okay, this? To think that she deserves this? Not only to put up with it, but to defend it.
And how do you connect the dots, because you had this experience, which is very, very important, and Salma shared, because I think that, it was a one-time experience. She was 6 years old, but it triggered something about justice, which, by the way,
Yes.
Chime for Change has 3 pillars, and this is Mrs. Justice right here.
Yes.
And but that moment of indignation really, is what is going to bring us to where we're going to talk to you today. But I would like to know how, from these initial feelings, you connected the dots and started taking action, really.
I started taking action at a very young age, and maybe at the beginning it was not necessarily with this cause. And eventually I got to this cause also because I realized that a lot of the other problems that I was concerned about have to do with violence accepted as a normality. And this is part of, look at the world we live in today. We almost accept it as a normality. We see it every day on the news, and we go on and like nothing is happening, and we look the other way. Mm-hmm. And violence starts in the house. Mm-hmm. And there are many studies that when you come from a house where there is violence, these people grow up to be violent too. So all of the people who think that you're not affected by domestic violence, whoever can kill you on the street comes from that. We're all affected by domestic violence.
Right.
Because that's where it starts. A woman has to be able to maintain her own dignity in her own home, and we cannot accept that we're not safe in our own houses. So I started getting involved in different issues with women and with women's rights. Way too many. I've done field work in Africa, in India,
with
in
Mother Teresa
Central
in
America,
India, which is interesting.
with Mother Teresa in India,
Mm-hmm.
who I learned so much from and really inspired me. In South America, Central America, North America, some work in Europe. But I was all over the place, and I worked with so many different organizations. And sometimes it was really frustrating because at some point, a lot of the work I've done has been quiet and strategic. Mm-hmm. Not all has been awareness. Most of it has not been awareness because I am terrified to speak in public, by the way. I want you to know you're all very scary to me from here. And I also noticed that I was disappointed many times because great organizations that I really admired would always look for the spotlight. And it was very hard to get them to work together. And nobody talks about this, but I think it's an interesting point, that yes, they're all for the good reason, as long as everybody notices it's them that it's doing it, yeah. And that it's noticed what they're doing. So yeah. Not everybody, but it's more common that we can think in this
Right.
line of work.
But, we're kind of proud of that. We just talked about this, because Chime for Change, we'll talk about how the different partnerships coming together and all this, but Sama was making a point, that in the NGO world, for those who know it, it's very competitive. It shouldn't be, but it is very competitive. But I think we're getting to the level of awareness, thanks to the work of, all these different individuals, that people are now understanding that the cause is more important than their image or whatever it is, And this competition is sort of, I don't know, it's not as much present there as it is in other causes, because for women.
But that's why also I wanted to it's one of the motivations for Time for Change, because what Time for Change does is that we actually bring together different NGOs, and it's not an NGO, it comes from the private initiative, but it brings other private initiatives, other corporations. It's not the only corporation. It actually invites other corporations.
But can you tell us, because Chime for Change really comes from you getting into the Caring Foundation, right? In 2009, is that right? Yeah?
Yes. Okay, so first, in all my mess of all the different things that I was helping, and I was a little bit lost, although I do want to clarify, it also taught me not to be it taught me just to go and do the work and not to care about that. And it also taught me something really important, which is we can all do something, and we should not diminish the little thing that we can do, because it has ripple effects that are unimaginable. And don't separate it from your life. It has to be who you are or not. It cannot be and now I'm going to go do this because this is the thing. No, it has to be part of your everyday life, how you interact with other women on day to day. And I remember one time I was approached to do Avon, a beauty campaign for Avon when I was young and pretty. And it was the first time they were going to use a celebrity. And a lot of my friends were doing big, very glamorous brands. And I was very excited about Avon, because it's been empowering women financially for many years in so many different countries. And because they have that brochure that billions of women read. So I said, this is a great opportunity to give the hotline number so that all these women can have it in their home in a way that it's not obvious. And if anybody has a problem, they can call. So I said, okay, I will do this, but can we take on together domestic violence? And actually they said, no, we do breast cancer. And I said, I know, but you can still do breast cancer, but we can do this. And they were, we're really strong in breast cancer, we're very committed. And I said, okay, can I use your infrastructure to continue my work with domestic violence? I said, okay, either we do domestic violence or I don't do it. And I'm gonna donate this part, and then you have to donate the same. And they said, okay, let's do it. And we started with a little thing. I am very proud to say that since then, Avon has raised more than $90 million for domestic violence.
Bravo.
You never know. You never know if you are really honest and you do it from the heart and you really do it, what kind of ripple effect it's gonna have. When I was dating my husband, I remember I went to do some field work in Central America. And we would talk on the phone or text, and what are you doing? And I would go, I was working with the prostitutes today in the brothel, and it's fantastic because we are training them to teach the man how to put the condoms on and how important it is. And it's dropped, the rate of AIDS considerably, and they're helping the other women. They're helping actually the housewives, but we cannot talk about it because nobody wants to hear that the prostitutes are the hero for the drop on AIDS in Central America. And what are you doing? And I would say, oh, I visited my God, I'm so tired.
Dime en español.
Donde están todas las mujeres, this shelter. And then he goes, is it a really big it's a really big problem in Central America? And I go, what are you talking about? It's a problem all over the world. Do you know how many in France? 1 out of 10. It's a really big, and it's not just like, oh, it's the lower class. No, everybody's affected by these. And on his own, without me ever mentioning it, he created the Caring Foundation, which is, we fight against violence against women around the world. And we've been doing this for 5 years. In these 5 years, more than 140 women around the world have benefited from the work of this foundation. And we work with 47 different NGOs, and we have really, really aggressive programs for the next 3 years. We are focusing on Asia for domestic violence, and then in America for sexual trafficking and sexual violence. And in Western Europe, we are going after traditional harmful practices, because in Western Europe, they still do sexual mutilation, and it's very strong, the arranged marriages. And in this environment, in the board of Caring, I met Frida. I met Frida.
With the other co-founders. So Chime for Change is co-founded by Salma, and then there's Frida Giannini, and then there is Beyonce Knowles Carter. And but really, it started when Salma was, decided that she wanted to get organized in her work and went through the Caring Foundation.
Yes, thanks to my husband, finally, I found a structure in which I could work.
Which and that also, really multiply the effect that she could have. And I think that really, we're going to show you a little video about Chime for Change, to show you what about Chime for Change first, and just thinking about this initial experience that she had to what has been achieved in only 1 year in Chime for Change. I'd like you to see the video.
Hi, my name is Frida Giannini, and I chime for education.
Hi, I'm Beyonce Knowles Carter, and I chime for health.
Hi, my name is Salma Hayek Pinot, and I chime for justice.
We're all here because we want change. This is not a fringe issue. This is an issue that is basic to absolutely every issue on earth.
Focusing on 3 powerful agents for change: education, health, and justice.
None of us can move forward if half of us are held back.
Who would have thought that a tiny device like this could be a weapon?
The click of a button, we can be connected around the world.
You can spread messages that lead to revolutions.
powerful tool a woman can have is her own education.
Justice.
3 things to change the world.
My name is Katy Perry, and I chime for justice.
Justice.
My name is Ben Affleck, and I chime for health. Education.
Education.
I chime for my daughter.
I chime for Malala.
I chime for my mother,
My grandmother.
my mom.
Alfarita Marley.
My name is Julia Roberts, and I chime for everyone.
Let's listen very closely to the voices that have never been heard before.
So, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about, so we said, like, the world awareness about women's empowerment has never been that important. Sama was saying in the video, the voices has never heard before. I mean, it's important to, like, remember that, this is the first time for many, many women in the world that they have a story, that they have a narrative. And that is the base of everything. That is the base of that revolution of women. But, thanks to that individual commitment, such as Sama's, not the exact like girl next door either, but it's like anyone, right? Now the society is responding to that. And I think Chime for Change is really an organization of the time, because Sama was saying it's not an NGO, that's true, but it brings together so many different partners that do what they do best. No, so say so we have like Hearst the magazines that are helping us with the media. We have the Gates Foundation, who's helping us with the structure. Also very important, that Sama was saying about the project that mentioned there. People go online. It's a crowdfunding process. But what's really, really nice and also very, very new is that you can actually trace your action, right?
Yes, because what is different about Chime for Change is that it doesn't ask you for money for us to go do something. It empowers every person in the world because it gives you the tools and the information for you to go do something. It can give you all the information so that you can understand what's happening and where, how you can help, through who, and everybody can do it in any way that they can. You don't have to have a lot of money. You can sometimes go and do the work yourself, and so there's so many people out there that want to do something, but they don't know what. They don't know how. If you really, truly want to do something, you don't need a stage. You can do it from your phone. You can do it from your house. I am shocked about the time that people use in their machines. I'm terrible with them. I don't have a good relationship with them.
It's true. She doesn't know how to
handle
her tablet.
The computer. But the time, think about all the time that each one of us, well, except for me and some others, spend on the machines. If you took 5, not to shop or to talk with your friends or to gossip or to find the news, but to, instead of listen to the news, to do a little something to change the way the world, what it's today, what's wrong with the world. And it's Chime for Change. It's a collective song of empowerment. You cannot look the other way. We are all aware of what's happening. Now what we're trying is to give you the tool for you to have not an excuse, for everyone to say, well, I don't know what to do or how. This is how, here it is. And then we cannot say, well, I don't know really where the money goes, because you cannot actually follow through what you did, where did it go. And you can see the evolution of the different conflicts through your help and the help of others.
Right, but this said, so that's the base of everything. But then, of course, society, starts understanding the need for women's empowerment. So they come together, no? And then Chime for Change, I think we've done I'm not the one who did it, but incredible work at bringing together people or entities like Facebook. Something happens, you can get it out. In so many different countries, so many different people. As I was saying, the Gates Foundation for the structure, the governments. every, single entity that could help helps, and of course the result is totally multiplied.
And for example, I said, I believe that you have to make it a part of who you are, not like a separate thing. One of our new partners is Kellogg's. And now in all the new boxes,
The Special K Kellogg's.
Special
right?
K Kellogg's,
Yeah.
they're going to have some of the problems and where they are and the information for the web. You can go to Chime for Change and find more information. And it's on the breakfast table. For you to remember that you're not alone, it's not just your family. It's a call of encouragement for all to become a family.
Right, and the Special K, by the way, it's starting, I think, is it today or this week, the activation, and it's a 25 million, boxes that are going to go in the house, and everyone, I don't know if you do, but I think everyone reads the back of the cereal box when they have breakfast, now they're not awake, and that's where like...
It's a topic of conversation. You can learn something new. You can think about someone else in the business of your day.
That's when you see that, everyone is so important because, Kellogg's brings what they do best, which is like, a big range of, of reach that they have now. People like Salma, work for the awareness, the Facebook. But really, like Salma and I both come from the storytelling, world, and I think we share that really, really very firm conviction that, the individual, even though this is all very massive, what's important is us, is each person, and each person's potential to bring about change. Otherwise, there's nothing to say on Facebook, there's nothing to say anywhere, no? So it's really that, I'm taking care of the storytelling platform, so I'm very much focused on this, but I see, because I do that, I see the incredible power of determined individuals. You can't stop them. Of course, Malala Yousafzai just received the Nobel Peace Prize, which is something that, but it's a visible part of the iceberg. I can say that for all the stories that I hear and we have on Chime and all this, it's a visible part of the iceberg. So the one really cool things about Chime is that it is cool, because we all know, we don't all know, feminism, I'm a feminist, what's a feminist? I think now the tone has changed, there's art, there's music, there's energy, there's hope.
I always say, are you a feminist? I said, well, I don't know, because if men were treated the way women are treated today, I would be fighting for them. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily because I'm a woman. It's because it's not fair.
Being a humanist, really, like someone who doesn't accept to live in a society where someone is going to be considered a second-class person just because.
Or not a person. They don't even have human rights
because of their gender. This is changing in really, really deep ways, and what we're doing is harnessing that change, really, It's a visible part of the iceberg, but, because we strongly believe in individual stories, we would like to share with you one of the films that Chime has promoted. Actually, we have the filmmaker in this room with us, Charmine.
Get up.
Where's Charmine? Charmine Obechinoy, who's also our partner at Chime, and we came straight from Pakistan yesterday.
She already won an Oscar for a documentary some years ago.
She's expecting a baby. I mean, there's a lot of things
and we're very, very happy that she's part of the Chime family, and she's making she's an amazing source of inspiration because she has the capacity to be inspired by other women,
right.
And her stories are a voice for so many women.
Right, and it starts almost now like a catchphrase that there's a lot of Malalas out there, but we're going to prove that. I'm actually, Charmine is going to prove that why you never lose hope in the individual. That's what we have. We have ourselves. We have a capacity for indignation. We have a capacity to act. And we're going to show someone who exemplifies everything we've said about the individual. So we can show the film. I will talk about after. I'd rather just see it, and then we can talk a little bit about it. It's called Umara the Dreamcatcher. It's still the same title, right?
What happens when we educate girls? We empower them.
Humaira Bachal. She's 25 years old. She started teaching when she was 15 in a 3-room makeshift school. She now teaches over 1,200 students in the same rooms. Let's help Humaira build a bigger school in Pakistan.
I fought to go to school, and I am standing before as proof of how education can transform a life. Girls belong in classroom.
मुझे ऐसा लगा कि 12 साल तक मैं जिस ख्वाब को देखती रही वो एक दिन में ताबीर हो गया। जब मैं इस जमीन पे आके खड़ी हुई तो मुझे वो सब लम्हे याद आ रहे थे कि जब लोगों ने ये साजिशें की कि इनको इस मोहल्ले से निकालो।
असल में हम लोग के कौम में भी नहीं है ना, हम लोग का कल्चर समझो नहीं बेचते। स्कूल शुरू से हम लोग पढ़ाते नहीं।
ये माशरा बातें करते हैं कि जवान लड़कियां बैग हाथ में लेकर ये जा रहे हैं, कहीं और जा रहे हैं, हजार सी बातें होनी। यही मसला है कि इस वजह से नहीं बेचते।
गैरत वाला एक बात है भाई, एक औरत बच्ची घर से निकलते, दुनिया रास्ते में आते जाते सब उसको देखते। बेटियां हमारे जो बच्चियां जो शादी करके तो अपने ससुराल वालों का हाथ बटाएंगे, तो उसका कोई फायदा हमें नजर नहीं आ रहा।
12 साल तक जो लोगों की बातें, जो फ्रस्ट्रेशन, जो चीजें बर्दाश्त करती रही, मुझे लगा कि वो एक लम्हे में सब कुछ कैद हो गया। अब सबकी जबानों पे ताले लग गए हैं, अब कोई कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, अब सिर्फ काम होगा, सिर्फ काम होगा। हमने जो सोचा है बस वही होगा फिर।
पेमेंट दे दो उसकी 1 दी उसकी
सारे पेरेंट्स आके बात करेंगे, स्कूल में ताला ही नहीं खुला। भाई थोड़ा सब्र कर जाए, ऊपर वाला बन जाएगा, गर्मी की छुट्टियों के बाद फिर हम आपके KG 1 KG 2 के बच्चे ले लेंगे।
अभी तो देखिए उसकी अम्मी पहले से मेरे अभी ये जो 4 बाल लगे हुए ना वो निकल जाएंगे, वो मेरी भाभी है।
अब मेरा बाल निकलवा दे। इतनी क्वांटिटी आ गई है कि अब हमें हर क्लास के 4 से 5 सेक्शन बनाने की ज़रूरत है। इस दफ़ा लड़कियां ज़्यादा लोग लेकर आ रहे हैं, तो उसका रीज़न ये है कि हमने एडमिशन से पहले एक अनाउंसमेंट किया था कि जो माँ बाप अपनी बड़ी लड़कियां दाखिल कराएंगे उनके 2 लड़के हम फ्री पढ़ाएंगे।
कितना साल है? 3 साल है। अभी छोड़ो, क्या मतलब है यार, अभी पढ़ाओ उसको।
गर्मी की छुट्टी के बाद नहीं इंतजार नहीं कर सकते। पहले एक दौर होता था कि हम डोर टू डोर जाते थे और लोगों को कहते थे कि आप बच्चे भेजो, स्कूल है, और अब हम डोर बंद करके कहते हैं मेहरबानी दाखिला बंद है। जैसे ही जगह बनेगी हम आपको फ़ोन करेंगे। पूरी आबादी को सिर्फ स्कूल में भरना ये मकसद नहीं है ना, मकसद तो उनको क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन देना है। तो इसलिए तकलीफ़ तो हो रही है ना बोलते हुए, लेकिन मजबूरी है, बोलना पड़ रहा है।
इस पुराने स्कूल से बहुत सी यादें वाबस्ता हैं कि हमने अपनी शुरुआत यहाँ से की। हम एक हॉल से जहाँ पे कर्टन्स लगे हुए हैं, जहाँ बारिश का पानी आता था, जहाँ अंधेरा चारों तरफ और सारी क्लासें साथ में, तो ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे कि हम किसी खंडर से किसी बहुत अच्छे महल में आ गए हैं। मतलब तरक्की का एक अमल जो है ना वो मुसलसल जारी रहने वाला अमल है और उस पर मुसलसल मेहनत की ज़रूरत है। जितने ऑब्जेक्टिव हमने अचीव कर लिए हैं, अब मुझे लगता है कि 10 और ऑब्जेक्टिव आके सामने खड़े हो गए हैं और जिसके लिए मज़ीद मेहनत करने की ज़रूरत है कि अब वो अचीव हो।
शादी मुबारक हो। अब आपका और आपके बच्चों का स्कूल बनकर तैयार हो चुका है और तमाम वालिदैन से दरख्वास्त है कि वो पूरे स्कूल का एक दफा राउंड ले लें। तो अब चूंकि स्कूल बन के तैयार हो चुका है तो हमें बहुत खुशी होगी कि ये खुशी हम ना सिर्फ बच्चों के साथ बल्कि उनके वालिदैन के साथ भी शेयर करें। तो उनकी अपनी जगह है तो वो आएं, देखें।
पूरी कराची में हमने ऐसा स्कूल आज तक नहीं देखा।
ये हम सोच भी नहीं सकते कि मुआज गोल्ड के अंदर इस तरह की एक बिल्डिंग तामीर होगी।
वाकई ख्वाब सही लगता है, जो इसका नाम है, टाइटल नाम है इसका, उसी के हिसाब से ये बिल्कुल मुनासिबत से है कि ये ख्वाब है और ये ख्वाब सिर्फ ख्वाब नहीं है, हकीकत हो चुका है हमारे लिए।
एक वक्त की मेहनत के बाद हम कम से कम लोगों के जहनों पे अब असरअंदाज हो रहे हैं। इस अचीवमेंट ने ना और ख्वाब देखने पे ना मोहर लगा दी है। ड्रीम स्कूल सोचा था ना, अब ड्रीम यूनिवर्सिटी सोचो।
Charmaine.
I want to say that Charmaine is going from here tonight to New York because she's receiving, with Malala, as a matter of fact, an award at the UN.
A Game Changer Award. So really, like, we don't have that much time, unfortunately, to invite Charmaine, but, in our short talk, I was hoping that you take from it the connection that there is from from someone like Charmaine, someone like Salma, me, everyone that's involved, and you start understanding that's not a catchphrase. Everybody matters because the work that goes behind this, is also the work of countless individuals that brought, their own efforts, their passion to the subject. So I think we are, in this really exciting time. Right, Salma, don't you think that?
And I feel that from me going from here, from there, in a really messy way to now being able to work in a time where everybody's working together gives me a lot of hope because collective effort results in a collective consciousness. And we can change, we have to change not only the one problem, build one school. Build a school is the result of a bigger, much bigger challenge, which is change the minds of all the people that are the walls that are stopping us from just being all that we can be, women. And that is the biggest fight, to change their minds. That's why even the presence of the Kellogg's, box on the thing, even if you don't do anything, it represents the story of the woman that is in the box. And we have to remember, they have to be remembered, they have to be present in our lives. I think we need to care. We complain a lot about the world. How much do we do every day to make a difference about it, to fix it?
Right. But I think, also I think that this idea that we can all do something, it's actually more than what I thought. I mean, for me, Chime also has taught me that, no? Because I see the number of actors that come behind what you saw today. And also the other thing is that for the first time, we're seeing the results. It's almost, it's not simultaneous, but within a year, we've changed the lives of we collective, we have changed the life of so many people, and Humaira is one of them. And the people who were against that school were the one who, men, now became like, the proud owner.
They
of
learned
that school.
something.
So
They
it works.
changed. Yeah.
And the mentality, think that this mentality has been going on forever. This is the first time in history that you have some kind of scenes like that. It has never happened before.
But the world is in a very, very bad state. It is imperative. We must change. We must change. And I think that we can see a new generation of warriors that have the will and the strength to do it, because for these girls, it's really hard to dream. It takes a lot of courage, and then to follow it. It takes a lot of stamina. But for them, each dream, it's a risk of their life. The kind of challenges that they have to confront to have the basic dream of going to school, of saying what they think. It can be that they can cease to exist, and they need the support of the world.
And it means everything to them. I think, like people like Humaira, who has not changed. She's the same person, but having this support of the world has helped her change the mentality in a very short time in the end, no? And so that shows the capacity that we have today to change even something as hard, as mentalities to transform. I'd just like to wrap up. I would like to know, for you to share, what kind of personal satisfaction does this work give you, and why do you why are you encouraging people, except for it's the right thing to do, but on a personal level, what did it bring you, this commitment?
My father taught me something that I really cherish. He never said it to me. He taught me because I saw him be that. He has the capacity to experience happiness through the happiness of others. It comes with a price, because you can also experience the pain, but it's certainly worth it. And so when I see, I steal happiness from the happiness of others, and I have to say, I am a very happy person. And yes, I have a great life, but I have extra happiness, because I am able to overjoy in the triumphs of other women.
Right. Talking about other women, when Salma was talking about Caring Foundation, it's not 140 people that they have, 140,000.
140,000. I am so sorry.
That's okay. And so, I hope you can get from this, that what I think is really important, especially for the young people, is that, this is something that we need to change. Yes, it is about a lot of injustice going on, but there is that dynamic now, that energy that everyone is feeling. I just came back from India, and when Salma was saying, there's this young generation that's coming, it's there. It's very much there. So I think we feel fortunate really to be part of this organization that that brings people to do the best they can, of their capacities. And so I think that we have many other projects. Chime for Change. It's not just a limelight thing that's going to go away. Different partnerships are coming in, and Salma is also responsible for the film unit as well. And
I'm a little part of it.
Yeah.
We have a great team of people.
Yeah, we have a great team of people. And
that's specifically through Gucci, who's been, even before Chime for Change, supporting.
Yeah, and so everything we're talking about really, why did one time, Gucci come in as a company, private sector, and say, okay, we're going to do this massive effort, right? Well, part of it is Salma.
and Frida, no, it was originally Frida's idea. I think I've confused people, okay? The Caring Foundation, Caring is my husband's company. We started with that. In the board, there was Frida Giannini, who was the creative director of Gucci. We worked together there. It was very exciting, and we worked really well together. And out of that, she came up with the idea for Chime for Change, and she invited me to be a part of it. So together we started working on that. And again, it was a man first in my life. What made me be aware of this issue, my father, and then it was my husband who created this company and exposed me to these wonderful people that I am working in. And I'm so proud because even he didn't only just like create the company and walked away. I mean, he's there on the 6-hour board meetings, and he does it in the company. The Caring Foundation has trained more than 400 people right now between France and Italy to help some of the internal workers to be able to detect if there's a case of domestic violence, to support them, to help them find aid. It also encourages the workers to participate in some of the programs that we've had with the 47 NGOs, give them the facilities to leave the work and get there and do the field work if they want to. So it's really applied it to the company. And then, of course, I met Frida, and we started this journey of Chime for Change.
So it feels very much like, people have like left behind their perception, their misconceptions, whatever, to really, really come together. And this multiplying effect really like, it feels like a collective dream, really, that we're all working together. And I think this ability for people to dream, like, in the Maria School now, people are going to be able to dream. I think it's something that's really, really important to you.
And we're very honored to be here because in the Women's Forum, we know that there are a lot of women, every single one of you with your own challenges. We know amongst us how hard it is to move things through, to make them happen. And it's fantastic, and I want to thank the Women's Forum for the invitation and giving us the opportunity to get to know all of you a little bit, or you us, and work together, because it is so important that we work.
It's also, I just want to say that, it's also a source of great personal joy. It's not just being a good person. I think that, you really get a lot of fulfillment from helping your fellow human being, and that's something that you could almost do for selfish reasons, help others, because the truth is, this is what life is all about. No?
But by helping others, I help my child. Mm-hmm. I help her children. I help myself.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, this whole idea of like, we going to, we are in the generation that can achieve that, and again, this is the first time in history that most of those stories are coming out, and as these women can talk. So I think we have to wrap up.
Social media has a lot to do with it. I think this is why it was so exciting to create the Chime for Change, because it's a different time, because we were able to put people together, but also because we have the tool of social media.
And because we think women rocks. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Marianne and Selma. Thank you so much. If you'd like to go down there, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, for introducing us to Chime for Change. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, Selma will also be hosting a conversation in one of the Agora spaces in the breakout sessions that will come after this. Thank you all very much for this initial opening session. Thanks to all of our speakers. We have a short break now, and at 4:30, please join the breakouts here in the Agora and also in the Discovery Hall, and then we'll be back here at 5:30 for our next Plenagora session. Thank you again.